Hi. Jumping into this video looking very different, filming on a different day because, so I filmed this footage like weeks ago at this point when the Sephora VIB sale was going on, and I intended to upload it and to have a little video where I wasn't using any new makeup, but all makeup products that I could find at Sephora, and that was supposed to be like tips to help you shop the sale. However, this footage is still relevant. The Sephora sale has come and gone, life has happened, but I know that Sephora is gonna have some Black Friday deals, and these are still makeup products that I love at Sephora. So ignore any point in time where I'm talking about the Sephora VIB sale since that's come and gone, but enjoy this full face of using nothing new makeup that's found at Sephora. Here we go. Hello friends, welcome to another video. What I want to talk about today is I want to do a full face of no new makeup. These products are not new, they're not being hyped up. Some of them have been around the block for a while, but they are still tried and true products at Sephora that I think are worth the money. They're great, they're still here, they're not new, and they're still here in my collection. I'm still using them and I wanted to share them with you. I would love to know your thoughts down below. Like, what are your tried and trues? Like, what is not new, but you're still loving it from Sephora? Share with us in the comments down below. I will definitely be shopping the Sephora sale, probably multiple times. So if you're gonna be shopping it, let us know your thoughts down below. But otherwise, I am going to zoom you in. We're gonna get ready together and we're gonna use some fantastic makeup that you can find at Sephora. Let's jump in. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with a primer for my dry skinned friends that I think you should really check out. This is the One Size Secure the Glow Tacky Hydrating Primer. Now, a lot of the One Size products I feel like have been geared toward oily skin, and so I haven't really tried out a ton. A lot of them are more mattifying, and y'all, even in hot and humid Texas, like, my skin is dry. Okay, my skin is dry. But I had a few friends recommend this product to me and say, even though you have dry skin, I think that you would really like this. And so this primer is kind of like the perfect mix of giving you a little boost of hydration, giving you a little something extra, but also providing long wear, because after I rub it in, like, my skin feels hydrated. I see a little bit of that glow with the Secure the Glow, but then there is also just a tiny bit of tack. Not anything where like my fingers are sticking to my face or anything like that, but a little tiny bit of tack that's gonna give me just that feeling that my foundation is secure. Before we jump into foundation, if you're thinking, wow, her under eyes look a little bit brighter, this is the one product that you cannot get from Sephora, but I didn't want to do a full face and not tell you that behind the scenes I was putting on my Sigma Color Correcting Duo in light medium. I have dark circles under my eyes. I need to do some correcting. Okay, so recently I did a ranking, like the last several foundations that I've tried, and in there was the Haus Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation. I have the shade, oh, what is it? 110 Light Neutral. It does say shake well. This is ranked in there. You will hear my full thoughts about it, but I'm trying to like use up some different products for today's video. So I thought that I would go in with this foundation. I feel like this is a good shade match for me. You know, I picked this up on my best friend Smeg's recommendation. I think she tried it out maybe this time last year even, and she was like, listen, don't sleep on the Haus Labs foundation. And I was kind of sleeping on it, y'all. Like, it's not one that I ran out and picked up right away. I mean, I was interested in it, but I didn't get it when it first launched. And so I finally got my hands on it and I am enjoying it. I do like to use my damp sponge. This is a Singe Beauty sponge and my Fix Plus. These two cannot be found at Sephora, I'm sorry. So I am going to spray a little bit of the Fix Plus onto my sponge. I actually just did it as my daughter walked in, but I like a little extra boost of hydration. And then I like to use a sponge to blend this in. Now, sponges do typically give you a little bit less coverage than a brush, but honestly, I find that sometimes brush applications just take some of the hydration and do away for me. It gives you a little bit more of a medium to full coverage. I like more of that like light to medium coverage. I want my skin to look perfected. I want it to look like it has foundation on. I'm not trying to go for like a no makeup look. I want to look like I have makeup on, but at the same time, I don't like full coverage. I just want everything to be evened out. I like a little bit of dew, a little bit of hydration, a little bit of glow, but I want it to give me like a nice even base. And I find that this one just does a fantastic job of like evening out my skin tone. You can see a little shine when I do set it down. It's not going to stay super shiny, but this gives me more of like that natural finish, more of like a medium coverage foundation. And I just think my skin looks overall healthy. We are back with brows, and I wanted to just share the brow products that I use because I have to create a brow. Every single day, I have to start from scratch, create a brow. So going in, first, I like to take my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. This one is the thin brow pencil. I use the shade Caramel, and I use that to kind of outline and fill in because the hair that I have, first of all, is very sparse, but the hair that I do have is blonde. So that gives me an outline and some hair-like strokes. Then I'll go in with my brow definer, also from Anastasia Beverly Hills, also in the shade Caramel. And I will use that to kind of build in more of like a fluffy look, make it look a little bit more thick and full. I also have been loving, mine is very worn, the Give Me Brow from Benefit. These are like gel fibers, and I can put them in the brow to create more of like a hair-like effect. And then to glue everything in place, because I didn't spend all this time creating a brow to have it disappear, I like to go in with the Patrick Ta lamination gel. That's like my final step to make sure it is all secure where I want it to be and hanging in there. So I don't try much in the way of brow products. I have my tried and true, and I just kind of stick with that. So for concealer, we are going to use the LYS Triple Fix Full Coverage Brightening Concealer. I have LP4. You can get this at Sephora, and LYS products at Sephora tend to be more affordable than some of the other brands that you can find there. I will say this concealer says that it is full coverage and brightening. Brightening, sure. Full coverage, I don't know that I agree with. Definitely a serum texture, definitely very comfortable on the skin, doesn't really settle into fine lines weird, doesn't get creasy or cakey or dry feeling. I really do enjoy the feel and the texture of it. I just don't know that it really is what I would consider to be full coverage. I am also going to spray my sponge and use a damp sponge to blend it in. Again, if I took something like a brush, it probably would be a little bit more full coverage, but you can see it blends in nicely, but it doesn't really do much in the way of concealing my dark circles, which is why I wanted to go in with a color corrector first. It definitely gives me a little bit of like a highlighted or a brightening effect, but I do have concealers that are a little bit more full coverage. However, if you are someone like me, I'm in my late 30s, my under eyes are mature, okay? There are fine lines and wrinkles and crinkles, and this does a great job of not accentuating it, but brightening that under eye. So I think this is a great concealer for someone with dry under eyes, with, you know, I get eczema sometimes, any kind of like texture. It's really going to help kind of give you that concealed under eye look without being too heavy. But if you're looking for something that's thick, full coverage, and gonna cancel out those dark circles, I don't think this is necessarily the right one. For powder, going in with my Givenchy Prism Libre powder. This was a gift from my bestie Smegs. I have the shade 3 Voila Rosé. I don't know how you say it. Anyway, it's like the 3 different pink powders in one. And I like this one because it is going to give you not really a mattifying effect, but it's definitely going to set everything down and give it more of a silky texture, I feel. It's definitely going to take away, see, okay, look, like when I press this with my damp sponge underneath my eye, it's going to take away, like, see how it's kind of glossy right here, and it just sets it down, but it doesn't make it like uncomfortably matte. You know what I mean? It doesn't take all of the shine and health away from it. It doesn't settle weird into, like I said, those mature under eyes, but it just is very comfortable, very like smoothing. Oh, that's what the word I'm looking for. Very smoothing. Gives you a very smoothing effect, and it's not too heavy for my dry skin. So this one is definitely a favorite. I know that it comes with a hefty price tag, but I love it. For bronzer, I wanted to use one that I haven't used in a minute. This one is from Dior. This is the Dior Forever Natural Bronze in the shade 05 Warm Bronze. This one, I will say, does get hard pan on it. You can see I have a little bit of hard pan here, but it still works for me. I like to go in with a big fluffy brush. I really like the undertone of this one. I find this bronzer to be very buildable. It's not one that I have to like be careful with because I'm going in with a heavy hand and I'm gonna look muddy. It definitely has a nice neutral texture like for my red hair. I don't want something that's gonna be too warm because then it makes my hair look even more orange. I don't like that, but I do want something that's gonna give me a little bit of warmth, but more on the neutral side, not something that's like a strict gray or too dark. And so you can see there, I went in with a fluffy brush. There is product there is pigmentation, but it's not too much. And I can go in and I can build it up and just focus that bronzer right here on the backs of my cheeks, a little bit on the apple of my cheeks, and it's a nice neutral bronze. This is one because of the hard pan. I would just be careful if you are someone who goes in with like a liquid or cream bronzer first and then powder on top, which is what I did to get this hard pan. You will get hard pan there. You can take some tape, tap it off. It'll help with the hard pan. But if you have more like fair to light skin, if you're a redhead, if you're looking for like a nice neutral undertone, I feel like this one really does have a nice undertone. So here is the bronzer on both cheeks. You can see very natural looking. It does give me some warmth, some depth. I probably could have even built it up and went in with a little bit more, but we're gonna have more of like a natural, neutral look here. This is one I would say definitely very buildable, gives you that natural finish, not like a flat matte that's gonna make me look dead. And I really like this one. Now for blush, I really wanted to share a blush that I feel like is underloved in the YouTube space. Not a lot of people talk about it, but I think they are fantastic. I could have pulled out the Pat McGrath. If you've been here, you know I love the Pat McGrath. I rave about those blushes often. I could have pulled out the Rare Beauty, the glowy blush. There are a few that I could have pulled out, but I wanted to reach into my girl Laura Mercier. This is in the shade Chai. When you look at it, it doesn't look like much. It looks basic, it looks boring, it doesn't look like it's going to do anything, but I really like this one. I find that it is more pigmented than I expect it to be. It has a nice natural finish. This is like a beautiful kind of peachy mauve shade. It's not like a straight mauve that's gonna give you like a pink or purple undertone. This one has more of a peachy undertone, but it's not too peach to the sense where it turns me off. I don't typically love oranges and peaches, but you can see here, it adds a little bit more. It adds a little bit extra. And like I said, it's not a flat matte. There's no sheen, there's no shimmer. It is a matte blush, but it's not one that makes my dry skin look dull and boring and dry, because I feel like sometimes some products, if they are matte, it's just a little too matte. So going in with that hydrating base, hydrating complexion, I feel like really helps to set my face up for makeup so that I can go in with these more mattifying products. So this is a good one. There's also the shade Ginger that I know both Morgan Turner and Charlotte Holdcroft have talked about. It's been like on my wish list forever, but I just love this shade Chai. If you have more of like a tan, medium tan, or deep skin tone, I don't know that this one would be a great shade for you, but if you have fair to light and you're just looking for like an everyday go-to easy type of blush, I think these Laura Mercier's, this shade Chai, I think it's really a good one. You can see here, it brings some life to the face. I hope the lighting's okay. This is why I never film at night and I film during the day. It's not nighttime, but it's like storming outside, so I'm using very artificial light at the moment. For highlighter, I had to bring in my girl Pat McGrath. The Pat McGrath highlighters are not my absolute favorite, but I do enjoy this one right here. This is the Lunar Allure Highlighter Divine Glow Highlighter. Her highlighters are a little bit more on the like glittery side, the specks of glitter side. This one, when I look at it, it's not chunky. This one is one of her smoother highlighters, but some that I've gotten in palettes have been a little bit more on the chunky side. But it's a bam boom in your face kind of highlight. The Lunar Allure would be good for people with more of a fair to light skin tone, just because it is, I mean, like, it looks white, y'all. It looks icy and white, but this one isn't quite as chunky as the others. So it gives me a boom bam in your face highlight. It's going to stand out. And look at that. Now we're extra glowy. Let's do lips, and then we'll end with eyes. And so for lips, y'all, I have talked about this one a ton, but I can't not talk about it. Like the Charlotte Tilbury lip liners, specifically this one in Iconic Nude. I did finish a whole Pillow Talk. Now I have this tiny baby Iconic Nude. I will be using all of this up. Okay, $20-something for a lip liner, and I have a ton of lip liners, and it's this tiny. Like, that just goes to show this stuff is amazing. Here it is right here. I use this lip liner with literally every color, everything from reds to nudes to pinks. It is just sheer perfection. I love it. And then for lipstick, I am going in with one from Rare Beauty. This is in the shade Worthy. Now, I find that these are definitely more of a mattifying lip. This one right here is like a beautiful nude shade. It's going to pair nicely with this lip liner, but these I do find to be a little bit more mattifying. So if you are struggling with dry lips, something like that, make sure you exfoliate, make sure you hydrate overnight, because this is a beautiful shade and it's going to stay and last on the lips, but it can be a little drying. Here is the shade Worthy, very beautiful, goes with everything. What I am going to do is I am going to spray my face with some Fix Plus, let everything soak in, and we're gonna jump into the eyes. So the eyeshadow palette that I chose is from Patrick Ta. This one is the Major Dimension 2 eyeshadow palette. He does have one which is more golden tones. The number 2, this one is more of like the rosy vibes. The way that Patrick Ta has this set up is he does have 2 cream shadows on the side, and then you have 10 powder shadows. Now the mattes are super creamy, super blendable, great formula. The shimmers differ a little bit. The shimmer that I use today is best to use with my finger, more I would say of like an iridescent topper, but then you have some shades that are more strict shimmers and they look beautiful on the lid. I really like the Major Dimension 2 over the Major Dimension 1. I had both of them, but I find that these pinky mauve tones just suit me a little bit better. This palette is one that is pricey. It's going to cost you a hefty price tag, but I feel like it's a great one for every day, for go-to. It's not one that I would travel with. I would be very, very careful not to travel with this one because the shadows are a little bit more delicate. I like the way that you have a cover with the creams. It's keeping the creams protected, but I love the looks that I get every time I reach into this. It is one that I will use for a go-to every day when I'm going to work. The way that you can just pick a matte, throw it in the lid, pick a shimmer, throw it on the lid, put a little bit of mascara and go. I have not reached for this one lately just because of the influx of like new palettes that are coming into my possession, but I really, really love this one. I think it is absolutely fantastic. So I wanted to share that as an option with you because it's one that I haven't talked about lately and it's not new. So that's gonna do it for this Get Ready With Me. Some oldies but goodies, full face of nothing new. These are products that you can get at Sephora. The sale is going on right now. I will have all of that information listed down below. Let me know what you've picked up, if you're picking anything up, and let me know your thoughts on these products right here. Otherwise, that's gonna do it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.